What makes life worth living, or how we put it, what is the meaning of life, is one of the most sought after questions in philosophy, and so far no clear answer has been found. In a world that craves certainty and revolves around making life more stable and predictable, whether you are a human or animal, the question of meaning makes things much harder than they need to be. While the humans are the only species that are conscious and think of questions like these, it doesn't mean that the question does not apply to other life forms too. Animals are trying to survive and procreate just as we do, and they are afraid of that just like we are. And all the things that are not alive don't seem to care about life at all. So why do we want to preserve life? Apart from life feels good sometimes and dying seems scary. We don't have the concrete answer. In nature, the rule of survival of the fittest is the only rule, and since creatures try their best to stay alive, they have to adapt to their circumstances. For the humans, this great task has been largely overcome. Thanks to the generations that lived before us, life has become objectively more easy to a point where most humans are not concerned about how they will survive on a day-to-day basis. And this was possible not because humans adapted well, but by transforming the world around to better fit their needs. People lived trying to make life easier, not thinking about why life is worth living at the first place. And now that life is easier, we have the needed time to ask such questions about life and other important things. So in a way, our ancestors leveled the field that allows us to think about such questions now, and that is their contribution to finding the answer itself. Humans, if compared to other life forms, are most likely to survive nature's threats, and are also the only creatures that we know of that actually ask questions like what is the meaning of life. And so it seems that the better the species are at surviving, the sooner they begin to ask the big questions. Well, is there a meaning to life? Let's say the answer is no. Then as more and more time passes, humanity will become more and more powerful, but without something to strive for, apart from satisfying one's selfish needs. More conflicts are inevitable, as competing for more with each other is one of the primary things that any life form has ever done. It is safe to assume that it's only a matter of time that will lead to a self-destruction. If this happens, it would be the nature's way of saying that the humans were, after all, not the greatest life form, since it did not adapt well after all. Maybe because it became too smart or too powerful for its own good, or because, since there is no meaning of life, there was never a good reason for any life form to come to a point where it should question any meaning at all, and becoming smart enough to ask such questions was merely a coincidence or a mistake. Now, let's assume that there is a meaning and that it is objective. If this is the case, then humanity has not come to the point where it is knowledgeable enough to answer it. After all, humanity spent most of its existence trying to survive. It is only in recent history that humans started having enough resources and time to focus on questions like these. Through the process of evolution, humanity will keep getting better and better, ensuring its survival, but also discovering more and more about the universe we inhabit, making it more and more possible to finally find the answer to the question, "We're just not there yet." If the natural progression that happened so far from constantly trying to survive without even knowing why, to finally asking why and then to answering it, will crown the humanity with the completeness and the real answer to why we have gone through so much suffering, pain and injustice, while at the same time making it all worth it, since in a way all of it was necessary to come to the answer. And if you are an optimistic person and want to live life in this way, believing that if there is an answer, that one day it might be answered, and it would all make sense, even if it's far in the future, it gives a sense of purpose. Of course, for all of this to be true, the premise of life has a meaning needs to be true. To contribute to this cause means to be most human that you can be. Let things develop on their own. If you let yourself see things in this way, all the bad things that happen and all the injustices can be compared to the process of getting to that one thing that makes it all worth it. Humanity have made and will make many mistakes in its process of coming to the answer, but at least all of its mistakes might be redeemed because it got us where we all desperately needed to be, at the place where the meaning of life is finally certain.